Welcome back. My life is changing a little bit. And after 10 years of stay-at-home motherhood, I'm making some changes. So I thought I would give a little what's next for me and for this space, with a little backup and story of how I landed here and how it wasn't what I intended and what I'm doing about it. Here we go. If you're new here, hi. Most of the time, my goal is to make lower footprint, sustainable, ethical living less complicated and more budget friendly, because let's face it is neither of those things so much of the time. And to do that on a budget, because that is our real life, and even more so going forward. I will let you into this story. It was almost exactly 10 years ago that I walked back through the door of our little California townhouse. I had a big bunch of flowers in my hands, and I remember I put them down on this old chair, and I went, what am I doing? I had ended my job. I was on maternity leave. And I had already started an Instagram account. I was already making money through Instagram, but I had no plans to go back to working, but to be home and work online with this job that was increasing and increasing. So it's been a decade of this life online, which is a life I never really planned. 10 years of that looking very different in the different ways that it made money, from the first time that I was sent something for free. And I remember it was a stack of bars of chocolate from the Nomad Snack Company in LA. And I thought, wait, I can post things on the internet and people will send me fair trade chocolate. That was my one stipulation at that time. Like, I've made it in the world. I still had a salary at that point. It was back at the very beginning of any kind of influencer marketing. That wasn't even a term. The next thing I was sent was an almond milk making kit, and I remember lining up all these hundreds of almonds on a table to take the perfect Instagram post, and it kind of went on from there, and I have made money online in so many different ways since the beginning. Slowly, though, my values began to change a bit, and also the internet changed. We went from this internet where no one showed their face to an internet where everyone wants to know everyone else's political affiliation, and it is very wildly different from how it was a decade ago online. And I think some of that is really good. I think some of that is destructive, and I often question net. Are we doing good or are we not? And obviously I'm still on the internet, but I think net there is positive to be done. And what I think about now is, as long as someone is on the internet doing a Shein haul, I will be there doing something else and promoting the opposite. But slowly my values began to change. And what had been just showing our different ways of eating, slowly through having kids and doing more research and learning, we began to realize the impact of everything we brought into our home on both our own bodies, but also supply chains and people in supply chains, and the environment in terms of emissions and waste and water and other kinds of pollution and impact. And so we switched largely from allergy-friendly recipes to going, wait, a great recipe is only as great as the impact that it is having before it comes into our home and after things leave our home. Life online gets harder once you have values if you're trying to earn money, because really the driver of money online, unless you are selling something yourself, is selling things for other people. It's all consuming. And I was moving more and more away from consuming being a norm to us, and more trying to fight that with secondhand things and shopping less and changing our mentality to need less in our homes, to be content with less. But that makes having an income hard online harder. And slowly that has snowballed until I take very few sponsored posts, and I don't want to take gifted product, and I don't want to sell people things. And that is an interesting journey, but one I really believe in. 10 years later, I am in a different country. I am now in the south of England. I have 3 kids, way too many ducks in our backyard, way too many. And I have looked forward, not forward to, but forward at this day when all 3 of my kids will be in school. Knowing that life online is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I have known this for a long time. About 6 years ago, when we moved back to the UK, It was when I was making probably the most money that I have made online, but it kind of felt a little bit empty sometimes, and also sometimes felt like the cost to my life and my mental health was not worth the money that we made. But even in finding better boundaries and better ways of doing it and enjoying it, it began to be clearer and clearer and clearer to me that no aspect of this life online was going to make me a happy and fulfilled person at retirement. And in that knowing, I kept going because it was our sole income for a number of years while my husband did a PhD. And it has been a beautifully flexible job around children. But I've looked forward at this day when all three of my kids will be in school and I have more time, and I've gone, this I don't think is what I want to grow back into more of a job. I don't think I want to give more hours to this and make this my career. And as a teenager, I was not the teenager who wanted kids and a husband. I dreamed of a career. And I spent all of my teenage years working very, very hard, doing hours and days and weeks and months of work experience so that I could apply to veterinary school. And age 18, I went to study veterinary medicine. After my first 2 years, I was in love with studying. I loved the science, but I felt so different from everyone around me because they really wanted to be a veterinarian at the end of the degree, and I realized I did not. I also got very burned out. A lot of my hair fell out. I lost a ton of weight. And so I finished my second year very down. And that led me to take a year out. I took 1 year out, I took another year out, and then I ended up never going back. I did not doubt that decision for many years. I kind of fell into getting married and having kids, but I did leave behind getting an education. And I've then done different things, different small businesses. I've loved doing that over the years. But as I've looked at the rest of my life and beyond kids, I've realized that piece is still inside me. I don't want to be a mom who is at home. While that is such a valid career, it is a career among many, and I don't think it is the best career for a woman. I think it is a valid career among many different career options. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on feminism and staying home and society's effect on that, you can watch. I did a 2-part on Ballerina Farm and the role of women in society and some of my thoughts about it. I will put that below. I know this is not what I want to do until I retire. It can be a great career for some people. It is not what I want to do. And as I've batted this around, my husband said something really wise, which was, you can be discontent and it be a negative thing, or you can be discontent and you can learn from it. And that is how the last 2 years have felt. I have been discontent with what I've been doing. I've had this itch for something new, but I've been acknowledging that I am in a discontented place, but I'm learning from it. And to clarify, my husband is in no way saying you have to keep doing what you were doing. That would have been the fastest way to get me to do something else ever. But we were both acknowledging this is where I need to stay. I need to stay doing this. I do believe in it. It's making money. I'm going to keep going. We're also going to learn from the discontentedness what we're doing next. And so I've seen this day looming. It has felt like looming, not because I have dreaded sending my kids to school, but it's felt like looming because I know I want something different. And I have really soul searched. I have talked, I have prayed, I have thought, I have searched the internet and asked people, and really felt like there are so many different things I could do and equally nothing I could go and do. I realized one of the things that I want in the next phase of life is more education. I don't want to jump into a job I could do now. I want to contribute to the world with more than I currently have. And it made me think, I think I want to go back and do some more education. It has been really hard to figure out exactly what that looks like. And someone on Instagram posted a quote that really honestly probably changed my life. And you may have seen the quote, but it was, if you were a character in a movie and you were watching you as this character in a movie, what would you be screaming at the screen? And that really, really hit me because at a similar time to that, I'd been told or I'd read a few different things. One being that we lose brain matter in pregnancy and having kids. And I felt really angry when I heard that no one had told me that. No one had told me that we actually lose brain matter. And I would have all three of my kids again, but I felt like I'm at a disadvantage now. I don't like that. I don't want less brain matter. I want to take that back. I want to fight that, and I want to learn. This quote made me pick up and go, okay, but what would I be screaming at my character on screen? And I realized I would be screaming, go do the thing. Go live the life. Go get the education. Get the degree. Do the thing you want to do. And so I started looking at myself like that and going, all right, this is not the most convenient time in life to do a degree, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to go and I'm going to do what I will look back and know I am really grateful to have done. I'm going to do what right now feels a little bit crazy, but I'm going to do it because I'm not going to be a bitter, retiring person. I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to know that through the twists and turns of life and maybe choices I would make differently if I looked back, but also I'm grateful for, I'm going to seize the moment and do the thing. And it's not that revolutionary to go back to university at 38, but to me, it feels a little bit wild, but great and so exciting. So, starting this September, I have enrolled in a full-time degree, a Bachelor's of Psychology, and I am really excited about it. I am full-time enrolled. I'm doing it through the Open University. So in England, we have a university where you study all at home. It's fully online, and that felt like the best way to do it at this moment in life. It is also slightly cheaper than doing it through some of the other universities, but it is still a big cost, hence why we are now really, really, really back on a budget. We have university fees for the next 3 years while I don't use my extra time to work, which feels like a big decision to make for our family, but I'm doing it. I am valuing myself and I am doing it. So, what does that mean for this online space? I'm going to be really honest and say, I don't know. I really want to keep this space up. I really believe in some of the conversations that I get to have here and being a friend on the journey of something that is really not glorified in society, of consuming more slowly and working through those mindset pieces and not keeping up with the Joneses and raising kids in that and how we do that well. I really want to still show up here with that, but I'm kind of diving in and going, I know what I want to go for, I know what I want to do, and I'm not going to let worrying or schedule or anything stand in the way of that. I'm going to go for this. I'm going to put myself first and value that and do this thing. And we will see what this looks like. But I know that we need to follow what is inside of us. And this felt like something that was inside of me that I needed to go and do. And I am valuing that because I want a different career from doing this. And this is a big turning point in my life. I feel like I've graduated phase 1 of motherhood. All the kids are out the door to school. And it's time for something new. Part of my reason for psychology is what I have seen on the internet and in marketing and in communication over the last decade, and going, all I want to do is bring change. And I think we need so many things to bring change, but one of the things we really need is to understand how we think, what drives us. I watched Oceans with my son, Oceans with my son, and David Attenborough says, everyone can look at what's happening in the world and can look at these facts, and then we go on living life the same destructive way. And from that to political discussions online and nothing seeming to move anything actually forward, so much of it has made me go, we've got to understand, I want to understand how we think, to see how we can communicate better, how we can think better, how we can drive change differently. So I'm doing it. I'm going to go learn. That's the story, and it's all I know. But by the time this video goes out, I will be starting. I have a package of books arriving, and I am worried about my brain not working, and I am telling myself I am not old and that I can absolutely do this, and I am not believing a lot of things come into my head while also being wildly excited to do something focused on myself and bettering myself and doing exactly what is in my heart to do, but also playing into a longer term idea of career and bringing change and doing what I really want to do. So anyway, I will leave it there, but I wanted to let you in on the next phase of life and what is happening what it means for here, why I'm doing it. So that is that. If you want to see a completely different video, I posted my best and favourite hack for secondhand shopping currently, which is this place called Thrift Plus. They originally gave me a credit. I've kept using them. I got these jeans there. I absolutely love them. It's all secondhand clothing. I ordered like 15, 20 different pairs of jeans and sent them back, and they're all secondhand and they take returns. So I filmed the haul. It feels like a jeans disaster, but it's not, because I ended up with 3 pairs that I absolutely love. So that video is right here. You can go and watch it and grab yourself a coupon code. And as long as I can find the time to keep recording videos, I will see you in another video sometime soon. And thanks for joining.